It's finally fall here in town and I'm in my new kitchen and ready to cook. Hi everybody, I'm Chef Anthony Pino and welcome to Sunday Dinner. Today we're making for you wild boar chops with creamy polenta. We love food and this is what we do. At our restaurants, everyone loves wild boar and today I'm bringing it home to you. So what I have here is some wild boar chops. Now wild boar is a pork, but as you'll see here, it's very different than what you see from the traditional pork. Traditional pork is more white, more creamy. This looks like beef. It's nice and red, it's vibrant, it has great marbleization through it. So it tastes very much like beef, but it is a pork and it is delicious. My pan here is slowly heating up here, and I have some wild boar fat here that I'm going to render in the pan. Once this kind of gets going, it's going to slowly make some oil and grease that I'm going to take out of the wild boar, and I'm going to pan fry these wild boar chops. So as this is rendering here, I'm going to season my wild boar chops. A little bit of fresh black pepper and kosher sea salt. Now this is nice and hot. I'm going to take the chops. I'm going to put them right into the pan. You hear that sound you got going on there? That's when you know your pan is nice and hot. I'm going to pan roast this on both sides. Just sear it, and then I'm going to finish in the oven. But when I put this into the oven, I'm going to also add some cipollini onions. So I'm going to peel it here. You kind of take off the top and the bottom. And you might lose some, but you know, you just kind of peel it off with your fingers. So you have these little button onions. They're sweet and delicious, and they make any autumn dish taste great. Let me test these. They're looking good. They are coming off, and as you can see, they have good caramelization. Now I can turn them over at this point. I'm going to put some full sprigs of fresh thyme into there. You know, and why don't I add some little bit of lavender? It smells awesome, and that, along with this, is going to be great. So I'm going to take this entire pan, and I'm going to put it into a preheated oven at about 400 degrees. These are going to cook pretty quickly. So you take the pan, and you just put it right into the oven. You always want to serve it, for me, medium rare to medium. So now that we have the boar in the oven, now we're ready to start making our accoutrement for this great dish. Water that I'm heating up here, that we're going to blanch our Brussels sprouts in. You just want to peel back the leaves. Right? Sometimes they can look a little beat up and people are like, oh, it's dirty. It's really not dirty. It's just the oxidation happening to it. When you blanch anything, always want to salt the water. So I'm going to put these in the water for just about a minute or two. Okay, so now these are cooking. Now we want to get our polenta started. Super simple. You're going to add the milk. You're going to bring it to a simmer. I'm going to season it with a little salt, a little bit of black pepper. This is starting to heat up nicely. I'm going to start to add my cornmeal. Add it in stages, because what happens if you add too much, it's going to be too tight and you don't have enough liquid. So you can always add more, but you can't take away. I'm going to let it cook out a little bit. Then I'm going to add some butter and olive oil. I'm going to pull out my boar chops because I think they're about ready. They're calling my name. And this is really how long it takes. Just a few minutes in the oven, and you're going to have some really great boar chops. These are great. They look fabulous. My cipollinis are nicely roasted, all natural, perfect. Work on my polenta. Oh, this looks so good. Love it. A half a cup to a cup of my polenta. I like to off-center it a little bit, so the chop is actually the center of the dish. So with this, we're going to add some cipollinis. Then we're going to go back to the Brussels sprouts that I have. Brussels sprouts just like that, just enough. Looks like my demi-glace is pretty much all ready. Now from there, we have our figs. Figs is something you want to add to the demi-glace at the last minute. You want them to be whole. You don't want them to really kind of cook down. So easy, something like this with a sharp knife. You're going to cut these into quarters. You're going to put them right in. Kind of figure maybe 1.5 of figs per person. It's a nice portion. Oh, this looks really so good and it smells delicious. So put some of the figs down at the bottom. Oh, love this. To top this dish is something a little bit different. I'm going to top it with a little bit of gorgonzola cheese. And just look at that, fig and gorgonzola go together so well. As you can see, it's starting to melt. It looks awesome. A little olive oil drizzle at the end. Just love olive oil. Just love it. This really is probably my favorite dish. Oh, look at the color. Nice medium rare. The demi-glace, the figs. So tender and so delicious. So there you have it, wild boar with creamy polenta. And don't forget to follow me on Facebook, and you can find this recipe at anthonydavis.com.